For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Don't make a fool of yourself for politicians. Also coming up on this afternoon's broadcast, we continue to focus on Officer 642 Tyson, and you called for it, so you'll be getting it during the course of the program, a special track. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel and Power 97.9 FM. During the course of the broadcast, I'll be hearing from you at 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 7162026, and Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room, so we'll be having periodic updates from her. Hope that your Thursday is a safe and enjoyable one. So we have more shootings occurring in St. Lucia. And the authorities, I like to make reference to the authorities because don't expect any ordinary individual in society, those, no pun intended, who are not calling the shots, those who are not charged with that responsibility to maintain law and order, to take it upon themselves to confront the criminals and also put certain safeguards and policies and legislation in effect to ensure that that particular problem that we're experiencing at this point in time is either brought under control, is curtailed, is managed, or is brought to an abrupt end. And it's as if, to be blunt, the island is on autopilot. Because people are being killed almost on a daily basis over the last few days in St. Lucia. You have K9 642 Tyson losing his life under suspicious circumstances. And you're not hearing from those people who clamored, who begged, almost fought, campaigned. They appeared to be desperate to be in the seat of power. Now that they have gotten the power, what do they do with that power? They create a mirage. They try to bamboozle you into believing that crime is not an issue in this country based on the stats, irrespective of 5 homicides within the space of a week. They are focusing on a visiting president, channeled all the energies on a visiting president, as if you, the people of St. Lucia, elected Tinubu into office in St. Lucia. He's the president of this country and not Nigeria. Now, if you invite an African president onto our shores, nothing wrong with that. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not create the impression that the majority of St. Lucians are against the presence of this individual on island. But we are saying you have to put the people of this country first. As it stands now, and there's no denying that as far as crime is concerned, the government of St. Lucia, in particular, elected officials, they have abandoned us. They have, and the evidence is there. I beg you to go onto social media, log on to YouTube or Facebook or the Facebook pages of our elected officials, and in some cases, those have been appointed, to find any material there, any statement pertaining to the island's serious crime problem manifesting itself in so many homicides within a short space of time. I challenge you to do that. And isn't it the responsibility of the government of any country to maintain law and order? It's a case that maybe we have had so many more homicides occurring within a shorter period in the recent past that the government does not see this as a big deal, but it is a big deal for most of us on the island. And no amount of pretending that the situation on the ground is very unstable and chaotic would cause right-thinking St. Lucians to believe otherwise. You can't tell me that I'm aware that a friend has been shot and killed. I'm aware that a relative has been shot and killed, an acquaintance, a former classmate. And you want to preach to me that things are not that bad in this country as far as the management of crime is concerned, because we can't expect a perfect environment. Why do we have a crime prevention minister amidst all this? Why do we have a prime minister who is also the national security minister? In most of the Caribbean territories, the prime minister is not the national security minister. Don't think that's the case in Dominica, not the case in Trinidad, it's not the case in Barbados, but very much so. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre wants to be in charge of our national security. And as far as the evidence is concerned, he has made a hash of it. He has not handled it properly at all. And the evidence is there to prove that. Those of you who are detractors of this broadcast cannot dispute this and cannot say that I'm peddling misinformation and disinformation. The evidence is there. Check the stats. So talking about the stats, in Soufrière, there was another shooting. And according to the fire service, on Wednesday, the 2nd of July, 2025, the St. Lucia Fire Service responded at 2:06 p.m. to a trauma incident, a shooting, at New Development, Soufrière. On arrival at the scene, 2 adult males were found awaiting ambulance assistance. On assessment, one person presented a penetrating wound to his back and deformity to the leg, whilst the other complained of pain to his arm. They were both treated, then transported to a medical facility for advanced medical care and a speedy recovery to those individuals. So which part of St. Lucia is spared that calamity? Which part? So you have Soufrière, and then you have Dennery, and then you have Gros-Islet. It appears to be throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia. No one is spared, or no community is spared. And it's in the basis of the performance of a government, of a parliamentary rep, as far as security is concerned, as far as the well-being of the people, as far as the cost of living is concerned, stability in your country. Because very soon, we will not only be inviting heads of state to St. Lucia in the not too distant future, but within the next few weeks, thousands of St. Lucians will be traveling to this island for Carnival. And a country that is part of the island, a community that is frequented by thousands of visitors to our shores annually is Soufrière. And if things get out of control in that part of the island, don't you believe that our tourism industry will be in jeopardy? And when things of that nature happen, do you turn only to the police? Do you say only the police is responsible for maintaining law and order in the country? And if you speak honestly to most police officers, they tell you that they're trying the utmost. There's things that are just beyond their control. Because never mind the politicians are telling you that the RSLPF is free of political interference, the reality is sapavwe. That is not true. Because evidence again. Police Commissioner Milton Daisy was pleading and begging for the authorities not to disband the K9 unit. What happened? Prime Minister, Minister of Finance. And to make the situation even more egregious, the National Security Minister. This has to go on record, you know. Let's document it. This was not a helpless National Security Minister who was at the mercy of his finance minister, you know. It was a guy who was wearing the cap of Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and National Security Minister who decided to disband the K9 unit. Do you believe that if the K9 unit was still in private hands, through negligence and professionalism, corruption, whatever you want to call it, do you think that the 3 K9s that consisted that unit prior to 2002, when the decision was made to disband it, any one of those dogs would have suffered the fate that Tyson was made to experience? Think about it. An individual is being paid 40,000 Gs to operate canine unit. 3 dogs, 5 handlers. That's his responsibility. Take care of the unit. The RSLPF does not have that headache. The government of St. Lucia does not have that headache. Can you imagine this individual allowing one of his canines to be killed or to die under, according to the police, suspicious circumstances? This is a blotch, a stain on the reputation of the government of St. Lucia as far as its handling of our national security is concerned. You did something. I don't know what inspired you to do that, to disband the canine unit. And this thing boomeranged. And this thing proved, not appeared, but proved your incompetence. The evidence, that's the evidence. There's some things people do, and it takes a while, or you never get to the point where it crescendos and you realize that that was a wrong decision. You have your doubts, you have your fears, your concerns. It is beyond doubt. There isn't any kind of doubt in my mind, and I've expressed this consistently. The decision to disband the canine unit was a bad move, bad decision. And it came to haunt us, and it cost our precious lives in Tyson. And we don't know how many lives will be lost as a result of this fiasco, this bungling of a responsibility that we entrusted to the government of St. Lucia. And so let us focus on the cost. Yeah, $40,000. People took to the airwaves, television, spoke on it. $40,000 a month. And go on Facebook and just read what was being written at the time by hacks of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Can you imagine $40,000 a month to operate a canine unit? Common sense did not come into the picture. I don't have a crystal ball now. I did not have a crystal ball when it happened. But I was vehemently opposed against that decision. I opposed that decision because of the possible repercussions which indeed materialized, came to pass. So let's listen to the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, Guy Joseph, speaking earlier today and speaking about what is lamented as an exorbitant cost, $40,000 a month to run or operate a canine unit.
The decision was made on the basis of $40,000 a month. There are 12 months in a year, Andre. 12 fours is 48. That's $480,000. Am I right?
Yeah.
40 by 10 is 400. Yeah. 480. So when a prime minister says that $480,000 a year, so in his 5-year term, 5 fours is 20, $2.2 million in 5 years on a canine unit is too much money to spend for national security. I want St. Lucians to understand that, you know. But for one performing artist in a jazz festival for 2 hours, Andre, you can pay $100,000 for 2 hours of performance. Now, that is just to be on the stage, you know. We're not talking about the transportation, the courtesies, the accommodation, or anything like that.
And these people sometimes come to their entourage.
And they come with their whole entourage. So I want St. Lucians to put that into perspective besides the job of the canine unit. Because sometimes we just say, oh boy, that's just a dog. A dog eating rat poison. How did the rat poison get to be in the area? Andre, I have 4 dogs at my home. That's my security, my dogs. Okay? They are not trained by anybody. Once my wife came and she saw the door open and she took one of the dogs inside with her. And the next day when she came, as soon as she opened the dog would go to every room in the house and then go back down. Make sure that there's nobody. Nobody trained the dog, just once she did that. And so these dogs, we know that we always say dog is a man's best friend because they are loyal, they are committed. I put poison out for rats at home, but I make sure I put it in an area where my dogs can never have access or never get exposed to it. So I want to go back and remind St. Lucians that the canine unit was generating more revenue for St. Lucia than it was costing us. And I can tell you, I acted as Prime Minister on a couple of occasions. On 2 occasions, I signed direct awards. You know, they like my association with direct awards. I signed direct awards for 2 brand new 4-door Toyotas from Beachcomber for the police. You know where that money came from? The Attorney General's office, because everything that was confiscated by the government was used for the enhancement of the police force. So millions of dollars. The canine unit was bringing in more than 10 times what it was costing the government of St. Lucia or the people of St. Lucia. In other words, every time there was a bust, whether it was of cash, because mostly of cash, because you can't reuse the drugs. You have to dispose of it. But there were large sums of cash that was always involved. And when you make the bust of the drugs and the persons are charged, they are fined. The money that is paid, where does it go to? It goes to the funds of the state. Anything that is confiscated, that is of value. So, for the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, to say that the canine unit was too costly, okay, they disbanded it. I've said it before. That facilitated a lot of the illegal firearms and drugs that have come through our ports in St. Lucia. I'm not talking about those that come through the illegal ports of entry or where there's no port of entry and somebody just comes in. You cannot control that in totality. So I will not say you could stop 100% of it. But everything that was coming could have been stopped at the port had our scanners been working and had we beefed up our canine units. For that matter, it's not it's not 3 canine or 1 Tyson we needed. We need about a dozen of these that people would know any and everywhere. Because these dogs should not only be used at the airports, you know. When you stop in and you searching vehicles on the road and you're doing all of this, this is one of the best crime fighting tools that the police had within their control. And you tell me, after 2 years, without a canine unit, we got a canine unit, we got it operational, and it couldn't last a year.
Former Government Minister Guy Joseph speaking on the program Meet the Opposition on Rev Up St. Lucia, and that's earlier today. Let's hear from you at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda will be going through some of your comments, and she will have a few updates for us during the course of our program. WhatsApp message, somebody says, I keep hearing about the cost of operating the K9 unit. How much does it cost to operate the motorcycles the police use, and which one is of a bigger benefit to the country? I, for one, never see a motorcycle cop on a weekend unless there is a visiting dignitary or something of that sort. Another WhatsApp message, how much is it going to cost to prepare and bury Tyson? I'm sure at some point in time that will be revealed either by the government of St. Lucia or the French embassy on the island. WhatsApp message reads, as usual, the SLP government saw figures of 40,000. They did not take time to understand that this cost was for salaries of the handlers, maintaining the dogs, which included housing, feeding, medicals, continued training, and so on. With the police, the dogs are just placed on a kennel somewhere behind a building where any number of police officers had access. Another WhatsApp message. Tim, as a guy who is into dogs, my first trained dog was by a guy who worked with an individual who was in charge of the K9 unit. Then my dog was poison proofed and never ate from the ground or anyone. So I'm surprised the highly trained dog would eat rat poison. Some more messages. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, there's something I just want to share with you guys because I know your program is the most monitored. Hopefully this falls on the right ears. Why do we have one drug inspector on island? I had medication sent to me from a medical facility in Barbados via DHL. This is not the first time. I last received these same meds in December 2024. I did not hear anything about a drug inspector then. The package arrived on Friday, June 27th. They called me on Monday, June 30th, stating that the medication needs to be inspected by a drug inspector. They have no specific time frame. In an effort to expedite the process, I picked up the documents from DHL and took it MOH myself. They are now telling me the drug inspector is off island. They can call me when she is back in office. We are talking about medication, not an article of clothing. We really are just running on autopilot in this country. No one can provide answers, and there is too much running around for something so important. Your medical information has to be shared between so many various departments, left in an envelope on someone's desk for days, and you have no clue when you will get assisted. I am very frustrated. I just want my medication. Might I also add, we had a drug inspector, but they killed him. That officer is 642 Tyson. And we're going through another WhatsApp message. Once again, the number to call is 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, the motorcycle cops are mostly used for special duties, hardly normal police duties. The carnival season has opened. Watch and you will see the frequency of them around the place. And let's go through another WhatsApp message. Thank you, Tyson, for your hard work. RIP. Don't worry, life has a way of paying itself. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, hi Tim, I'm in St. Lucia listening to NewsSpin. Okay, nice to know that you are here. Lucia, enjoy your vacation. Lucia, I think, lives in the United States. And another WhatsApp message, somebody says there via WhatsApp, PI 1962, I think either PI or PL 1962, stolen last evening. T. Colon, please contact nearest police station or 719-9784. 719-9784. And we're trying to go through as many of your messages as possible. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Good afternoon to you, Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. A few comments from the chat room, and NewsSpinner says here, Tim, we must not stop speaking about Tyson until we know why the dog died. Another commentator reads, watching some clowns in Parliament today, SLP government ministers are really clueless after 4 years in government. A NewsSpinner says that young people in St. Lucia are being taken out at a rapid rate. Shake my head. Another commentary says it would be interesting to see how the crime records and the stats are kept. Someone says, Tim, who is the crime prevention minister? What is his name again? Another commentary reads, when your egos are larger than your common sense and empathy to protect those you serve. A NewsSpinner says, heck no, we ain't coming home for the carnival. You forgot Trump is looking out there. People with green cards are scared to travel. Now he is after naturalized citizens. So no, we are not coming home. Another commentary reads, PJP could not secure the safety of one dog, but he is entrusted with the lives of tens of thousands of people. Another commentary reads, with homicides rising sharply and 5 murders reported in 1 week, what immediate actions is the government taking to protect the people of St. Lucia? Someone says, Tim, how will the government restore public confidence when there is a perception that political interests are placed above the welfare of St. Lucians? Another commentary reads, writer, you are to inform the drug inspector's office before the medications arrived. And the commentary reads, Tim, when a government cannot manage key national initiatives properly, how can they be trusted with the future of our country? Their recent decisions are reckless and put our citizens at unnecessary risks. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much. We have some more updates still to come. Somebody says there, Tim, I am calling my next dog Tyson. We have to keep Tyson's name alive until we get answers from this government. And I think we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that give money to Kailash was a better crime fighting strategy than having a canine unit. Another WhatsApp message. And this one reads, Tim, good day. $480,000 for a population of $180,000 works out as or at $2.67 per person's protection per year. That is very low. The Prime Minister believes vehicles are the answer to crime, doing the same and expecting different results. All governments gave the police vehicles, and that was a WhatsApp message. Continue to send me those messages, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. I think we have some other WhatsApp messages from yesterday, and I will attempt to go through them right now. One of them reads, Tim, we have so many Lucian educators, cultural icons, nurses, police officers who have dedicated their lives to this country and never have they gotten recognition. This Nigerian man has done absolutely nothing for St. Lucia. This feels like a political stunt, and it cheapens the meaning of national honors. Labour needs to stop the showmanship and start valuing our St. Lucian people. Shaking my head. Some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says, I'd like to know 2 things. Was the poison adjusted or was it injected? Don't have that information, but I'm sure that in time, hopefully, we will be able to share some information with you regarding what would have led to Tyson's death. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. I think we have another WhatsApp message. Okay, no. So, also being discussed and raised is the fact that finally we heard from the police. But we heard from the Assistant Commissioner of Police in Dr. Seeley. And somebody raised the issue today and asking, why didn't we hear from the police commissioner regarding the death of Tyson, Officer 642? Because remember at the time you had this operation on the Castries Wharf in May of this year, which netted 17 firearms, and over 3,000 rounds of ammunition. We heard not only from the police commissioner, but other senior officers. But we have a call. Let's take that WhatsApp call. Hello, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Allô?
Good afternoon.
Bonjour, Tim.
Oui.
Bonjour, Tim.
Bon après-midi.
Oui, Tim.
Nakuto.
Tim. Quand tu dis c'est quoi mon regardé, je l'ai plus passé plus long, moi quoi.
Oui.
Parce que le m'a regardé bah chien ça Tyson. Tim, imaginez quoi ou c'est un drug bon, moi pas dit où. Imaginez quoi drug dealer, cartel là. Combien l'argent comment il était drug boss là et Tyson fait un monchi là? C'était combien millions?
4 millions. About 4 millions.
Eh ben, ok. Bon, Tim, on mettait sens en sacralé là. Tim, si cartel là, ça peut pour 4 millions, Tim. C'est pas pour 4 millions les affaires, mais t'as là, il n'est en chébé. Ok. Donc, si il voulait faire l'autre bagaille passer, Tim, pour faire l'autre 3 millions encore. Ça qui empêche de faire 4 millions, il faut il faut éliminer les.
Oui.
Eh bien, bon, Tim, l'argent qu'a parlé, c'est l'argent qu'a fait cheval courir. Tim, bon, après, c'est moi estimé, moi allège que Tim, quand elle a dépassé l'argent, tel côté, bah, tel monde. Et puis, ça passe comme ça, Tim.
Ça possible.
Tim, faudra nous pas couillon. Faudra nous pas être couillon et écouter ça, toutes ces politiques. Parce que c'est beaucoup qui a mis en manière, yo, pour ça crée ça, yo ka dit, yo savent que ça, yo ka dit pas vrai. Vous comprenez? Je ne pas blâmer le rôle police force là pour ça. Vous comprenez? Mais Tim, là, ni un chay d'œil. C'est ça, yo voulez nous savent, yo ka dit nous. Mais vraiment, ça qui a fait là, yo pas ka dit nous, Tim. Parce que moi, sûr, yo savent. Moi, sûr que yo savent tout ça qui a l'air. Comment on est la fête? Vous avez dit, ok, chien mort, il peut faire post-mortem, il a dit c'est manger.
Non, il n'a pas dit c'est what, un sauce qui dit mais chien mort et prison. Mais police même officiel a dit qu'il a fait post-mortem là, et puis il n'a pas dit nous ça il joint, because il still can faire investigation.
Tim, ben ça un chay. Et première page et politique les bas partis a pas de chien. Yo pas de presque dans unit parce que les venir trouver yon tié. Au gouvernement yo pas de vle. Ben ça ni un chay ba yon dit dan. M'a pas dit c'est yo qui fait ba là mais là regarder ba là Tim, ba là un chay passer nous connaître. Et faut dans ces monsieur qui dit nous qui ça exactement qui passe en pays. Assez polish ba là et puis faire nous comprendre ba là bien. Les ça ba là pas bien Tim. C'est pour ça qu'a serré top bail en bas table et puis faire moun quoi tout bail bien cette ici, tout bagaille bien cette ici. Yo ka faire moun comprendre considérer tout bail qui marcher bien. Un petit bail économie, bail si des petits bail yo ka faire pour yo, ça c'est tout. Mais c'est gros bail là yo pas ka dire nous. Ça pas ka faire sens Tim. Moi pas aimer ça Tim. C'est pour ça ni pour mettre bail là level, oui glo. Yo pour mettre bail là level, balance bail là Tim. Pas mettre bail là yon bas, ça pas bon. Et puis, il faut nous laisser comprendre qu'on nous aussi. Il faut nous aimer qu'on nous. Il faut nous respecter qu'on nous. Respecter l'autre monde. Parce que un chai de respecter qu'a fait le pays, c'est pour ça que les gens comme ça aussi. Les gens ne peuvent pas respecter les gens, les gens ne peuvent pas respecter les gens. Vous comprenez? Et puis, Tim, tu es bien. Et puis, quoi, un bon travail, Tim. Tu es bien. Ah, je te voulais dire le bail, Tim.
Oui.
Et la dame, c'est qu'à courir là. Et même si Philippe GPA là. Qui nous?
Mr. Chico, Peter Chico.
Bon, voilà. Dernière fois, moi, Chico, moi, j'ai vu FJ, c'est tellement, moi, FJ, c'est like it is. C'est like it is. Non, gâti nom, là, qui parle gros comme ça, Tim. Oui, c'est tellement, le moi, FJ, c'est pas chez moi, ouais, mais moi, quand tu ouais.
So, what man?
Moi, dit Chebe.
Parlez, Nakuto.
Moi, dit Chebe, ouais, et puis, toujours comme un bon, ouais, parce que nous, là, et puis.
Vous avez from Martinique?
Oui, Tim.
Ok, merci beaucoup.
Mais moi toujours à couteau. Là, moi travaille là, moi toujours à couteau. Moi imagine comme mon headphone moi à couteau.
Ok. Nia bonjour.
Oh yes, je
all right,
yes,
thank you so
aussi.
much. Ok. So bon après-midi pour toutes ces Saint-Luciens qui Veye Bekute NewsSpin Martinique. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you on the air.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. We had an error yesterday, so my apologies to you. It was not deliberate, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, nous
tenons un petit problème là.
Any problem, no apologize, sir. Anyway, Tim, I would still say some of what I was saying. I will still say it. I was referring to a dog and a cat at my home. Now, I heard you tell the caller from Martinique, we're not too sure if it was rat poison or anything that killed Tyson.
No. What I said was we have not received confirmation of this from the police. But a source told me that the dog ingested some poisonous substance. Some poison.
Now, Tim, I listened to your caller there over in Martinique, and he makes a lot of people might not, maybe person who don't really understand the Creole would not understand clearly. And Tim, he make a lot of good sense, Tim. You get it well from him, of course.
Yes.
The guy makes sense for true. And Tim, we can just look at it on our own. The dog had some very good success for us. Is that true? Good success. So, and he referring to the money that was seizure, that money which came up to $4 million dollars. And he was so right. Tim, there are a lot of things that are happening behind closed doors. And you know me and you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have a shred of idea as to how those things happen. All we were told, everything is under investigation. You will get an investigation. How many things that have been under investigation in St. Lucia? In that small little box of country? So many pertinent and important things we want to know. And we wait. There was a time we had the briefcase passport. There was an investigation into it. It came out with nothing. We heard nothing in the end. So many things. But this one with Tyson, I am waiting, Tim. And I know we might not hear the full investigation of it unless if the French demand that they want to take part in
because in the chat room somebody's already saying the French authorities should send someone to investigate the death of Tyson. I don't trust these St. Lucian investigators.
That person in your chat room say it well said. Because Tim, for so many things that have been under investigation here with no result from government, starting from the police. I mean, nothing. We don't know who to trust. But Tim, every time I look at that dog at my home, and I look at and I heard what happened to Tyson, it baffles me. I'm left with confused. Because don't you tell me a dog that was so important? I mean, somebody, Tim, took responsibility of guarding that dog, taking the dog have handlers, the dog have person who feed him, the dog even have somebody who makes sure that they have a veterinarian see the dog. I mean, these things, I just cannot understand. Because, you know, when I heard the dog pass him, I feel it bad. Because to see a dog that is saving our lives, you know, Mr. Poleon, from those illegal firearms that are everywhere with the drugs and the firearm come together, you know. These two operate together. Somebody must have been in a certain position, and this is alleged, and make sure they want to see the back of that dog. That dog is too smart for them. They cannot see that dog. And the caller even go as far as saying that when this party, the Labour Party, came to office, they find there was a canine unit there. What do they do? We say that every day they disband it. And then later to hear that it would have been too costly for the country, and then we saved the country money by removing the dogs. Can you imagine? A statement coming from the government? The dog was costing too much. Think how many lives that have been gone every year like that. I don't know how many homicides we have there for now.
Roughly, we might be at about 34, at least 34 homicides so far.
Okay, and and we are in the month of July. So if we continue on the path that we are there right now with recording 5 or 6 homicides in less than a week, we are very much up to a big total at the end of the year. And what really troubled me is that we have somebody that is responsible to secure the nation. Is the Prime Minister, National Security. That is a top position to hold in any country. National Security Minister, almost calling yourself a chief of staff, the head of the armed forces. And to see that day after day we are losing our young men like that, and then we hear nothing. He's so preoccupied with this so-called comrade, black little nice comrade from Nigeria. You excuse my language. So they are so preoccupied with the champagne and they're having the fun. Not even the death of Tyson, matter to the National Security Minister, far less than the citizen. We are in a place, like Rick saying every day, we are in a bad place in that we are in a bad position. Something is drastically wrong with our country. All of a sudden, for some reason, everything in St. Lucia is alleged corruption in every corner in this country. You don't know who to trust. Nobody knows who to trust. Who is going to get us out of where we are? Everything is upside down, everything. And I don't even want to comment on that comrade Nigerian, because I read enough, and sometimes you said when you read things, it's not good to put it online. People can fabricate things. But I have been listening to Nigerian news, and what I am hearing from Nigerian news, oh my God, it's like these things follow us, and it follow Nigeria. Nigeria then come and dump the extra load of what they have there for us. And meaning they allegedly corruption. So we have Nigeria have their own, they dump a portion for us. And now then we are so happy. We have Tony Boeing, St. Lucia, everybody happy that we are now focusing on the South. We're forgetting about America, that is our number one trading partners, with American plane landing in before bringing visitors. Now it's Nigeria. Forget about America for now, and Great Britain, we into Nigeria. I want to say Nigerian Airways, come to St. Lucia. Bring tourists from Nigeria. I don't care about the color of the skin. Bring tourists from Nigeria to do business or to get this economy get back on its feet. Tim, I don't know. We just in such a mess, my brother. Thanks for the call.
All right, sir.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for calling. Still to come on this, the most monitored talk show in the world, The Country and Well. Stay with us.
Calling all teens. This one's just for you. Get ready for the KFC Teen Socarama, happening Saturday, June 28th from 12 to 6 p.m. at Serenity Park. It's a full day of teen talent on display. Junior soca and calypso artists, kiddie carnival bands, fashion, drama, games, and non-stop vibes. Come out and let's have some good, clean fun. No alcohol, just finger-licking goodness. So tell a friend, grab your crew, pull up to KFC Teen Socarama. See you there.
Flow's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road, V4 at 454-6555.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucia at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart. Stay safe.
It's time to paint and save at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt. Get 20% off on all Berger Everflow and Magic Coat paint during our big carnival season paint sale. Whether you're refreshing one room or painting the whole house, now's the perfect time to add that pop of color. But hurry, the Brush and Save sale is only here for a limited time.
At La Clinique de Corps, your health comes first with St. Lucia's only advanced 1.5 Tesla MRI, delivering safe, radiation-free imaging aligned with World Health Organization and international standards. Not sure if you need an MRI, CT, or ultrasound? Our expert in-house doctors guide you so you get the right scan the first time. One accurate scan can change everything. Your peace of mind starts here. Get $50 off all consultations with our doctors now through July 31st. We're UHC approved and accept all major insurances. Visit us in Castries or Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps. Advanced care, local access, your health reimagined.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. Fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
Mark your calendars for July 30th and 31st. It's 2 days of sizzling savings you don't want to miss. Cashier Day is coming to Europa Hardware. Get 15% of all your favorite cashier gear. Wet and dry vacuum cleaners, powerful pressure washers, gas or electric, upholstery cleaners, and steam cleaners that make grime run for cover. Swing by Europa Hardware and score 15% discount during the Cashier Day promotion. Remember, it's July 30th and 31st. Write it down, set a reminder, tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't wait, don't miss out. Call us at 452-0763. Europa Hardware in Massad Grosley. We service what we sell.
Cricket fans, get ready for non-stop cricket action. The St. Lucia National Cricket Association Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast T10 tournament is back, bringing the fire and excitement of fast-paced cricket at the Grosley Mini Stadium. It's 15 days of exciting, exhilarating cricket with electrifying T10 cricket battles from June 24th to July 8th. First match starts at 12 noon and 2:30 p.m. for second match of the day. Come see some of the island's best cricketing talent as they go head-to-head in this fast-paced format that promises to rain sixes, wickets, and nail-biting finishes. Mark your calendars. June 24th to July 8th at the Grosley Mini Stadium. The St. Lucia T10 Blast, where legends are made and dreams come alive. Let the blast begin.
That's a 1989 track by Stetson RBP, Wilshire, Red Plastic Bag, of course, The Country and Well. And you requested it yesterday, decided to play it today on the broadcast. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And let me see if I could go through a WhatsApp message. Okay, let's take a call via the WhatsApp. Okay, we have a call via WhatsApp. No, we have a call, yes. Let's take that call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I'm all right, how about you?
Not bad. Amanda, how are you?
Good afternoon, call. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, TB, what do you found different in the song you just played there? The arrangement, the melodious harmony, the lyrics as compared to our calypsos down there. I mean, we're quick to say we are the best calypsos. I agree, our lyrics are very, very good. Some of our lyrics, not this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see how harmonious the band sounds in backing up Plastic Bag.
Yeah.
Everything is in tune.
But there's something wrong. I was speaking to the producer of the air. There's something wrong with the mixing, because he sounds a little too low. His voice is not in sync with in terms of the sound, some of the loudness, not in sync with the music. That's the only problem I have with it.
But you can detect that, Tim.
Yes.
But as a former musician, Tim, I'm talking about the arrangement.
The arrangement is good.
Yes, it's great. It's great. I mean, Plastic Bag is one of the best calypso in the region.
Yes.
In the world, and in recent years, you know.
I mean, he won the crown. He won the crown a record 10 times, huh?
Tim, I know that. You remember his first song, right? Mr. Hardin Can't Die. That was his very, very first song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? And he sang Raga Raga. You know, which is, he was being sarcastic in his song, criticizing the dancehall in Jamaica.
You're right.
But Tim, what I'm saying is that when you listen to our calypsos down here, this year in particular, especially from 110, you can actually, when the calypsonians sing, you can actually foretell what the arrangement will be, what the tune will be, what it will sound like. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Gone are the days of Boo Hinkson, I don't know if Boo's still in it, Clarence Joseph, Jab Duplessis, Gregory Piper, and these guys, you know, Diffie, which is Timothy Mondesi and these guys. I do not know who's doing the arrangements right now, Jean Leon and these guys. But that's lacking right now, Tim. It is lacking, right? We don't sound that way before. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, our songs were much better. I mean, not the tunes, not the lyrics. We're talking about the arrangement.
Yes.
It was a lot better as compared to now. You come saying, Tim?
You get your point, sir.
And, yeah, because there's a fellow called John King from Barbados. A
former government minister.
Guy. Yeah, former government minister. And the Ras Ailey, Gabi, Griner. Their music is way, way, way above ours, Tim. Way, way, way above ours. I know that they have studios, recording studios. Now we are trying to catch up with Barbados, but there's something lacking in our music, in our invent today. Anyway, thanks, Tim.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Let me turn my attention to Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room. Good afternoon to you again.
A few comments from earlier, Tim, and NewsSpin says here, St. Lucia's international image is suffering because of the SLP's poor governance and failed policies. Another comment here reads, if someone is truly responsible for the death of this dog, you have to wonder how they feel right now about such an act. What has happened to our conscience as human beings? A NewsSpinner says there, the amount of murders we have every year and the amount of unsolved murders, you think people care? Every day blood runs in St. Lucia. Another commentary says, they can provide answers. It's the truth that they're trying to stay away from. Is the truth they're trying to stay away from. Yet they're asking us to read the book entitled Ministry of Truth when they are the Ministry of Lies. Someone says here, I know the Bible says we are living in the end times and it's expected to see very bad times, but God also says that righteous people will get peace. So I do not think about others. I am tired of everything that's been going on in this country for the past 4 years. I don't want to complain anymore. I just want my homeland settled and peaceful for a time.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
I just want the election.
Continue.
Okay.
My apologies.
It concludes, I just want the election bill rang. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Too much in a hurry to take a call. My apologies, ma'am. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Amanda. How are you today?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, caller.
All right, awesome. I don't want you to be too much in a hurry. Amanda is too important to this show while she reads what the opinions of the listeners are for you to rush out.
Yes, caller.
Just want to say that. I just want to add my 2 cents to the whole Tyson saga, and my heart is broken. It's broken really bad because as a U.S. law enforcement officer of 23 years myself, whose department utilizes K-9 officers on a daily basis, it's a travesty to not place more emphasis on the death of Tyson, because I think a lot of the St. Lucian public, and not just the public, but a lot of people just see Tyson as a dog. But Tyson wasn't a dog. Tyson was an officer. Just like you have human officers, you have canine officers. And what would have happened if a human officer was poisoned? This should be exactly how what happened to Tyson should be treated, with the importance, with the urgency, with the emphasis on everything that they would have done if it was a human officer. Tyson should have been the same. For those who don't know, in the U.S., canine officers are treated just like an officer. They have a badge, they have a credit card, they have a vehicle, they have a training regimen, they have a plan, they have a budget. And their care is not just in the back in a kennel or just for anybody. There are contracts, there are safeguards. Before they put that canine in a kennel, it is vetted to make sure it is safe. And so there was, to see a canine officer that is so important to the national security of St. Lucia be poisoned, if that is true, would be a shame, because there would be a lot of not just responsibility, but blame to be had. And I don't think it was coincidence, honestly, because of the success Tyson has had. I was very, very excited when the St. Lucia Royal Residential Police Force got a K-9 officer to help them with crime fighting, because it's gotten out of control in St. Lucia. But that news really shook me this week, and it shook me to the core. And I really hope that this is not politicized. This is not a political issue. It's not a left or right. It's not a red or yellow. This is a national security issue where an officer was killed. This is murder. It's murder, and it should be treated as such. And I hope that whoever it is investigates this death puts emphasis in it as if it was a human officer that was killed, because Tyson needs to be looked at not just as a dog, but as an officer. And I hope that justice is served. And honestly, I share the sentiments of one of the callers earlier. I really don't trust the St. Lucia Royal Residential Police Force to investigate the death of Tyson. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't have the faith in them. I do believe in law enforcement. I support law enforcement wholeheartedly, but I do not have the faith that the emphasis needed, the detail needed for that investigation will be given to it if the Royal St. Lucia Police Force was to do it. So we need to get some independent body to investigate, and everyone involved in Tyson's demise should be held accountable at the highest level, because it's a travesty. And again, I will end by saying my heart is broken at such a loss for security in St. Lucia. Thank you.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution. This caller calling from the United States, and couldn't have said it better, echoing the sentiments of many right-thinking people in this country. But on the other hand, there's some people who are just ignorant of, or if they're deliberately feigning ignorance by, just not attaching great importance to Tyson, and not recognizing the fact that the grave injustice has been committed on the island, and one that has serious implications, not only for future canines that are part of this canine unit, but also for law enforcement on the island, because a major breach occurred. This dog, I'm told, was located at the Marine unit of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And this investigation, I hope it does not take the appearance of other investigations, so-called investigations we've had into serious issues on the island where there have been breaches, where there should have been thorough probes to ferret out information that would have cleared certain matters. We hope it does not go down that particular route, because if it has happened to this canine, which is a part of the law enforcement agency in St. Lucia, it definitely can happen to many of us, and there could be a number of other breaches. And this certainly can make life more difficult for us in terms of our efforts to maintain law and order in the country. What is glaring, what is certainly puzzling as well, is that no one from the government, and I'm not politicizing by saying this, we have not heard from the Home Affairs Minister. The Home Affairs Minister is kind of responsible for the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the Fire Service, etc., administrative issues relating to the force. We have not heard from the National Security Minister. He has not seen the need to speak on this particular issue. Talking about 9 days after we lost Tyson. We have not heard from the Crime Prevention Minister. You must understand, this is a ploy. This is some kind of strategy that is being employed by the government because they are embarrassed. And coming to a podium, coming to a microphone, speaking on this issue, what are they going to say to the public of St. Lucia that would be credible, that would make sense in light of the previous decision to disband the canine unit? But they need to swallow their pride and issue some statement, speak on this particular matter, because it is a serious one, and every St. Lucian should be very concerned about their own safety. It's not me trying to alarm any individual, because this dog was in the care of the Royal St. Lucia Police Service, for Police Force. And according to the Assistant Commissioner of Police, the death is suspicious. And we know what happens when certain things are being investigated on the island. There is never some kind of statement that would bring clarity to that particular probe. So, we have probes upon probes that are pending, and we'll never come to any kind of logical conclusion as to what transpired. We hope that in this particular case, this will not repeat itself. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call on the landline. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Tim, I'm still on Tyson, because it really hurt me when I heard people call in. And all that work that dog has done for us as St. Lucia to protect us, to try to cut down on the drug, the ammunition that is killing our young people. And we talk about young people that could take that country from one step to bring it to another step. But what I really call for, Tim, when you're in an accident, the police come, they take the measurement, they investigate in the matter, right? Even when you die at your home, sudden death, the police still have to come and take a statement and investigate how you died. Now, this is a canine, a police dog, okay, representing the Royal Police Station, or how they call themselves. You telling me, I listened to the deputy commissioner yesterday. Tim, I didn't get anything from what she was saying yesterday. I am not sure if there is a post-mortem on that dog. But in my opinion, that is my opinion, I would like the French to send their doctors to St. Lucia to carry out a post-mortem and to tell St. Lucian exactly how that dog died. I am not saying people killed dogs. The dog was in the hands of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And last week, as you mentioned, we heard about that dog passing. In my opinion, And I believe all St. Lucians now should put pressure on the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to give us better answers. Because when the dog went out there and did that bust, $4 million, and you're talking about the arms that it discovered, there is more to that, Tim. And for a little country like St. Lucia that has gone through so much, and getting 2 gifts from the French government and trying to crack down on them illegal drugs, on ammunition, and for Tyson to go like that and not getting the proper word from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Tim, I have no, how would I say it, confidence in the St. Lucia Police Force anymore. The only thing they could do, Tim, you might take a chance by going and get a little medication, just a few seconds. You'll see 5 of the policemen coming to give you a ticket. And sometimes they're even bullying you too. And that's a fact. But with Tyson was doing the work for St. Lucia. They didn't see it eating. And I have a problem with that, Tim, I lost hope. My problem is, I hope that dog gets a good send-off. Because I will bring my dog I am caring for and I love to go to that service with my dog. And I call on St. Lucian. They should protest to see that Tyson gets what it's supposed to get. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. We're due for a commercial break. We'll be back in just a bit with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, and we'll have another update from Amanda.
Carnival just got crunchier with KFC. It's time to fat, win, and feast with the Carnival Crunch Box. For just $30, get a Big Crunch or Zinger sandwich, 3 crunchy strips, a dipping sauce, regular fries, a 16-ounce soda, and a biscuit. But wait, that's not all. Every Carnival Crunch Box gives you a chance to win big. Promotion runs June 1st to July 20th. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Do whatever that crunch you want.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Your home is a reflection of who you are. So make it beautiful with MNC Home Depot.
Quality products at the best prices. Paint and plumbing to home appliances. Customer service, you can count on us. With experience, you can trust.
So if you need to build it, clean it, style it, paint it or fix it, chances are we got it. MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
Visit us in store or shop online at mnchomedepot.com. MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
Flo's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or launcher. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
At La Clinique de Corps, your health comes first with St. Lucia's only advanced 1.5 Tesla MRI, delivering safe, radiation-free imaging aligned with World Health Organization and international standards. Not sure if you need an MRI, CT, or ultrasound? Our expert in-house doctors guide you so you get the right scan the first time. One accurate scan can change everything. Your peace of mind starts here. Get $50 off all consultations with our doctors now through July 31st. We're UHC approved and accept all major insurances. Visit us in Castries or Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps. Advanced care, local access, your health reimagined.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home, we've got the mortgage. Starting your first business, count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, where we continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, remember we just announced that there's a stolen vehicle in the Ticolor area, and the number was given to contact along with contacting the police station. Well, an individual says, thanks, the car recovered, got calls, thanks to NewsSpin. So we're happy that we could have been of service to you. What's the message? Tim, I heard you said we need to take the Tyson issue very seriously as a people. But the Labour Party, which is the government, isn't taking the matter seriously. Remember when they came into office, first thing they did was to disband the unit. What does that tell you? Have you heard anything from the Security Minister, Crime Prevention Minister, Press Secretary? This speaks volume. But the people are listening, the people are watching. Tanto. Talking about the people, a politician has said to the people, don't make a fool of yourself. For politicians, listen.
Politics is not necessarily dirty by the politicians themselves, you know. It's people who believe they are more than the politicians. Because there are things, any of the ministers in government, including the present Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, would see me arrive there with my mother, and he would do whatever he could to make sure he assists. So this is not a problem of the politicians themselves. I would meet Dr. Kenny and any of the members there. They would interact with me at a different level. Because we have that level of respect. We may disagree on a lot of things, but we would not treat each other in situations like that in a particular way. But some of the people of the country take it beyond what the politicians themselves would do, and they think they are doing something to praise the politician. You know, one time when Mangal was running against me, I was coming up the road and a lady was cursing and getting on behalf of Mangal. And I stopped by her and I said, how many times have I told you all, do not curse on me and do not get on with other people about politicians. I say, if you fall there and I fall there now, Mangal will pick me up before he picks you up, because he knows me more than he knows you. So don't make a fool out of yourself for the sake of politicians. And that is a message that needs to get out there to the average St. Lucian. We can define our political views. We can have a different outlook. We can support a person, but we must never lose sight of our humanity and the fact that we are St. Lucians first.
Mr. Producer, I think we should play that clip again.
Politics is not necessarily dirty by the politicians themselves, you know. It's people who believe they are more than the politicians, because there are things, any of the ministers in government, including the present Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, would see me arrive there with my mother, and he would do whatever he could to make sure he assists. So this is not a problem of the politicians themselves. I would meet Dr. Kenny and any of the members there. They would interact with me at a different level, because we have that level of respect. We may disagree on a lot of things, but we would not treat each other in situations like that in a particular way. But some of the people of the country take it beyond what the politicians themselves would do, and they think they are doing something to praise the politician. You know, one time when Mangal was running against me, I was coming up the road and a lady was cursing and getting on behalf of Mangal. And I stopped by her and I said, how many times have I told you all, do not curse on me and do not get on with other people about politicians. I say, if you fall there and I fall there now, Mangal will pick me up before he picks you up, because he knows me more than he knows you. So don't make a fool out of yourself for the sake of politicians. And that is a message that needs to get out there to the average St. Lucian. We can define our political views. We can have a different outlook. We can support a person, but we must never lose sight of our humanity and the fact that we are St. Lucians first.
To all the hacks watching and listening to this broadcast, very instructive. Don't make a fool of yourselves for politicians. I mean, so many people say all kind of derogatory and disrespectful things about people on Facebook. They write it on Facebook. They call the various talk shows, and they do that because of politics, because of a particular party, and because they're supporting a particular politician. And that is coming from a politician, you know. Please stop making a fool of yourselves for politicians. We have a call in line. That will be our final. I think we lost that call, but 452-2979. We'll take a final call in just a moment. In the meantime, our NewsSpin question of the day. Why is the PJP government silent on Tyson and recent murders? Once again, the question of the day: why is the PJP government silent on Tyson and recent murders? We have our final call on the line right now via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you are on the air.
Tim, thanks for the privilege of such a late call.
You're welcome, sir. You're an honorary member of NewsSpin. And by the way, I'll tell you something else.
Yeah.
We are going to officially knight you today. From now on, you are Sir Rick. Okay?
Tim, thank you very much. But I want to take on...
Okay, Sir Rick. Continue.
You will recall the number of times I have made reference to a particular politician being a friend of mine.
Yes.
We don't have to go into names. And you will also recall another politician telling me, get off it. He's not your friend. Remember that?
I remember that.
Well, I ignore that because I've known the politician for many, many years. And we agree to differ in our politics. And it's not so much the politics we differ as to certain decisions he has made that don't sit well with me, but I respect it's his right to do what he wants as a politician, what he thinks is expedient. But I remain his friend even though I disagree with that. Now I'm trying to understand what Guy said there. You want to just break that up for me a little bit, Tim?
What he said in effect is there are a number of people out there who got on a limb, disrespect one another, etc., for politics and for politicians in particular. You need not do that. Let's agree to disagree, because the politicians themselves, those who go up against each other while they're under the hustings and so on, they say certain things on the platform, but generally they are respectful to each other. And to put this whole thing into context, is an experience he had with his mom while she was seeking medical treatment at OKEU Hospital about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, she died. And we're saying that if, perchance, Philip J. Pierre would be at the OKEU Hospital, maybe just walking around and so on, and he needed medical help, he needed his intervention so that his mom could have gotten assistance, he certainly would have assisted. Likewise,
right,
Dr. Kenny Anthony, etc.
Thank you very much for that. Now. That says more for the character of the man than it says about the reality of our existence in this country with politicians. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I totally agree.
And because that is so important to me, that people must understand. Because politicians at this point expect their followers to be hateful of the others. You hear them saying so. If they see you in the company, look at you. You had it recently. You know, you must engage. Well, I don't suppose you could have engaged Guy. That's why I called. You had it recently, wasn't it? You was sitting. No, or was it Dominic? Oh, didn't it happen to you as well? And you were sitting in a group, and there were.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was me. It was me. And Dominic was there as well.
Oh, it was the same incident.
Yeah.
I could call it many others, but here you are with the proof yourself. That you were sitting with Dominic and some other people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was serious, and I say serious, there were very disturbing statements regarding that. Regarding the commingling, you guys being together. As far as I've been told, even the girls who were involved, the ladies, have suffered consequences.
And employees of a government ministry.
The government ministry.
Described as sushi girls.
The sushi girls.
Yeah.
They have been removed from where they were before, and they have been sent to different offices, separated them, period. And they supposedly are good friends and so on. And I could go back further than that. So it has been a thing that's been growing, and the consequences on the population, people hating one another. And here's something that's interesting. The people will not necessarily hate the politicians. In fact, when they meet the politicians, they will do a little bit of, as much as they can, some butt kissing just to appear a certain way or in search of a favor or whatever. But themselves, to the ordinary person, you hear them cussing out. Facebook is a perfect mirror of that. The nastiness. Things are wrong in the country. Look at, I'll bet you anything that most of the reaction to the death of
Tyson,
if you were able to check it, you would find their colors. You know what I mean by that?
Yes. Because supporters of the government would tell you, I mean, that's not important. I heard somebody say yesterday, but that's
the country. That's the country told me loves dogs, you know, and I want to correct that. There are people in the country who love dogs, who spend money on dogs, who try to get good breed dogs, who treat their dogs well. But on 2 occasions, some foreign people living in St. Lucia had to go around and collect strays, and they had over 100 sick stray dogs. And a plane came from a sister organization to pick them up. Medication was medicals were arranged for those dogs, and they even found homes for them. And when the news came out, St. Lucians were not very happy with that. They immediately compared themselves to the dogs. Why wouldn't those white people pay for their bills, medical bills to Martinique, instead of wasting it on the dogs? And I have to tell you also an unforgettable incident that made the news when a couple of guys with about 4 or 6 dogs grabbed the front and hind legs of those dogs, swung them, and then threw them over a cliff in Cap. You remember that?
Yes, I can recall, yes.
Live dogs, trusting dogs. The dogs weren't even barking or trying to bite them. Grab the dog. Can you imagine a human? Let me remind you of that. Because it didn't make much news on it. There was little comments on this dog-loving country of ours. That 4 dogs, I think, and a couple of guys, took turns grabbing the front legs and forelegs and the hind legs of the dog, swinging them, giving them nice speed, and then releasing them over the rocks at Cap. No police sought who those guys were cruel to the animals. In civilized countries, you go to prison for that, Tim. So I am prepared to accept that perhaps people cherish their dogs more than they did before. But I think on a general scale, we have not learned to love animals at all. And the worst thing you can call a guy is man's best friend, etc. We're a long way yet. I have one final thing, Tim. There are some people who are trying to suggest that if there is a lack of enthusiasm over the visit of our Nigerian politician, I don't remember his name, I can't remember his name, the president.
Tinubu?
Mm-hmm. Tinubu. Anyway, so they were trying to suggest that the animus was directed at the guy because of the color of his skin. You know, Martin Luther King did say he hoped in time to see that his children, or he said that he might be gone, but he hopes his children, by the time his children are grown, that they would be judged by not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Mm-hmm. But isn't that what we're doing? What we want to do is pretend all of that publicity about the guy coming from his own country, all of that bad publicity on the internet that continues even now. There are all kinds of videos have come out since his visit, Tim, none of them flattering. And we are supposed to leave that alone, which in fact is judging his character, forget his character, and deal with the skin. You know, deal with the color of the skin. Isn't that the same as white is always right? Are you there, Tim?
Yes, Rick, I'm listening.
I just think you should have was working. What's the difference between white is always right and black is always black? It's always right.
Not much of a difference at all. None at all.
Because if we're going to treat this president totally oblivious of his record from his own country, what's on the record, the company he keeps, etc. If we're going to pretend it's because he's black, go ahead and be comforted with that, because it has nothing to do with him being black. Mandela was black. Everybody worshipped Mandela.
Yes, we did.
Martin Luther King is black. Everybody worshipped Martin Luther King. You can name a few more for me. There are a lot of black heroes, just because we don't. And you know, what pisses me off, and I repeat it, again, I am not against the guy being given a St. Lucian award. Because don't fool yourself. That is not a knighthood. That's a St. Lucian award. The KCMG is the real knighthood, which goes back thousands of years. What we have is one that Kenny created. and it is called a St. Lucian Award. You can call it whatever name you want, horse, knighthood, or whatever. It is a St. Lucian Award. With me?
Yes.
So that we know the difference between the St. Lucian Award and the British Award of the knighthood.
The only involvement is that the head of state, who is the Governor General, represents the king. That's all.
Well, that in itself is a little more ludicrous, because we are, first of all, mimicking a knighthood. I mean, a knighthood is very, very useful. Let me say that to you, Tim. It's very, very useful.
It is for your brand.
I'm telling you, I got the awards that I got, British awards. I mean, you don't hear me talking about them, and you don't see me writing about them anyway. But it's recorded elsewhere.
Yeah.
And when I travel, or quite often, the letters I get from particular people, I can assure you, those awards have a lot of oomph, a lot of power. What we have tended not to do is give some kind of power to our awards. I have always said that, in my view, rather than have a St. Lucian knighthood, we could have had an award in Derek Walcott's name as our highest honor. We would not have had to publicize it, to explain it, because the whole world knows who Derek Walcott is. So it would be for us to choose the high requirements of winning the Derek Walcott Award. It would also keep Derek Walcott alive in the minds of people years to come, as opposed to the situation where most people don't even remember who Derek Walcott is. But you see, no thinking goes behind that, and everything is done by a bunch of politicians or the hacks who think exactly like them. They don't even want to hear an opposition view, because that's what they want to do. And generally, you find they screw up every single time. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, Rick. Where I said Rick. Thank you so much, Sir Rick. Sir Rick. Our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads: Haiti's gangs have near total control of the capital as violence escalates, according to the United Nations. Haiti's gangs have near total control of the capital as violence escalates, according to the United Nations. Worth a reminder again from Guy Joseph of the opposition United Workers' Party: don't make a fool of yourself for politicians.
Politics is not necessarily dirty by the politicians themselves, you know. It's people who believe they are more than the politicians, because there are things any of the ministers in government, including the present Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, would see me arrive there with my mother, and he would do whatever he could to make sure he assists. So this is not a problem of the politicians themselves. I would meet Dr. Kenny and any of the members there. They would interact with me at a different level, because we have that level of respect. We may disagree on a lot of things, but we would not treat each other in situations like that in a particular way. But some of the people of the country take it beyond what the politicians themselves would do, and they think they are doing something to praise the politician. You know, one time when Mangal was running against me, I was coming up the road and a lady was cursing and getting on behalf of Mangal. And I stopped by her and I said, how many times have I told you all, do not curse on me and do not get on with other people about politicians. I say, if you fall there and I fall there now, Mangal will pick me up before he picks you up, because he knows me more than he knows you. So don't make a fool out of yourself for the sake of politicians. And that is a message that needs to get out there to the average St. Lucian. We can define our political views. We can have a different outlook. We can support a person, but we must never lose sight of our humanity and the fact that we are St. Lucians first.